using acute angles, street elbows on the inlets and outlets to the valve itself. And finally, ensure that we're including an auto bypass valve on the system installed between the pump and the valve itself, correctly adjusted, and again following the flow arrow marked on the valve body itself.
A couple of years ago, I made a video about expansion vessels. It's this red one here, and it was very well received, which I'm really pleased about, and got some fabulous comments. Obviously, we had the usual heroes that said, we've been installing 20 years, we've never fitted a bypass or expansion vessel, we don't care, we're not interested, guarantee, we're not interested, we just want the money and we leave the customer in a mess. So we've always got that lot. So if you have a Combi and a automatic bypass underneath, terrific. But I'm going to show you what to look out for a bit later on. So first of all, we had comments about, oh, it's in the boiler, I'm off. No, that's completely wrong. Here we've got a valent boiler. As with many top class boilers, they will have an internal bypass on some of their models, or maybe all of their models. You just have to go from which to which to which. So here we are, here's a typical block, and their bypass, which is fixed, is this screw here. And I'll show you the cutout there of a later one, nice new brass one. This is fixed for the boiler. And installers have to remember that from the valves upwards, what's in here is governed by the manufacturer. They put in components and controls and stats as their requirements have, and extra features to make it more attractive for installers to buy. So we can't change anything in here unless it's been approved by that manufacturer, because we don't have the right. When you connect the pipes underneath, then we have a different set of rules, and they are called Part L, building control. The electrical side is governed by Part P, and on our Wednesday course we start with that, with a drawing. Here's a close-up. Every single drawing of every single system has a valve just past the boiler. And I asked the question, what is it? And half the class says, I haven't got a clue. The other half says it's a bypass. Maybe out of 12, 1 or 2 will say it's an automatic bypass because they've watched my video and they are more advanced and cleverer than the rest of them. So obviously they are correct. It's an automatic bypass, which is a requirement for every single system, and particularly on a Combi, because you would be naive to think that that screw is going to keep the flow rate here at a steady rate and all of the radiators in your house. It's not going to achieve that, and of course that's why we have a lot of systems with sludge and scale and block pumps and all the other problems that we get. And this is a very simple installation to be done. Imagine your heating system is a figure of 8, which really it is. So what we've got is the small circulation here is the boiler going round and round, and as we saw in the other clip, that internal fixed bypass will only take this part and make it work correctly. The bottom part are all of our radiators, no matter how many we've got, how far away it's got. It's physically impossible for an internal bypass to keep this flow rate exactly the same as the top one. It will only cope with the top, which is why we as an installer have to put an external automatic one. So basically it's a piston that goes up and down according to the expansion of the water that will work, because it has to, it's just physics. And we use the expansion vessel to stop it going too high or too low, but the high bit is the important one. So that's why An internal automatic bypass doesn't exist. They are fixed. The very latest ones may start to incorporate an automatic bypass within the boiler, but that's the manufacturer's way of controlling that heat exchanger, which we have no influence on at all. But the radiators that we fit and maintain, yes, we can. Let me explain the two different sides of the physics. First of all, pressure. Pressure is governed by the expansion vessel at the back. Now we know that if you get cold water and start cooking it to these around 80 degrees, it's going to expand by about 4% for the whole volume. We need to control that expansion, and it's done through the expansion tank. Here's an external, and there'll be around one, usually at the back of the boiler. But it may be the wrong size, and it may be the wrong pressure. So we have to check that one and make sure that figure, for example 1 bar, is exactly the same as this one, 1 bar, as you'll see on our graphics. Those two have to be exactly the same. When we add an external one on, this is also the same figure, 1 bar for example. So that keeps the pressure at 1 bar. So no matter how the water gets fatter and fatter, expanding, the rubber diaphragms here hold it back and send the heat out through the house much faster. So therefore, that's a good situation to be. So check on your system whether it is 1 bar from cold, and as it gets hotter and hotter, just pop back and have a look. Normally 15 minutes should do, and see how high it's gone. If it's gone too high, then maybe they just want repressurizing, not always replacing.